Welcome to episode 2 of the Men Unleashed podcast. So excited that you're here. If you haven't checked out the first episode, go check it out. I lay some groundwork. Try to give you a long-winded idea of what we're trying to accomplish here, why I'm doing this, and kind of the ideal state of really what I am setting out to do. If you didn't watch it, the whole purpose of this Men Unleashed podcast is to be a resource specifically for men. So much of today's society is coming at men and demasculating them and putting them in their place and all the things. And us as a generation of men have a lack of leadership. We really do. We have an identity crisis. We don't know what a man is, and the goal of this podcast is to create that example, is to create a community where men, plural, can come together and grow together to unleash what we have inside of us. Right or wrong, I think we've all been put on a leash by society, and we've allowed it. And this podcast is set out to unclip that leash, to break through those glass ceilings and whatever other metaphorical, type thing you can come up with. So, want to create a community, a safe place for men to come to. Women might get some insight out of this. Hopefully they do, you know. But my heart is to serve the men community at large and to be a beacon of light, to be the center of influence. And that's what we are set out to do. So if you didn't watch the first episode, go check it out. And today we are on episode number 2. Episode number 2. And here's the whole thing of what we are after today. And that is navigating fear and doubt. It's a big one. I know I struggle with it greatly. Right or wrong, it is what it is. But the problem is, how you gonna deal with it? Because I don't care who you are. I don't care. If you look like you got it together on the outside, I promise you, you have fear and doubt on the inside. If it doesn't matter. I don't care. I've got it turning on the mic for this. I've got it, when I've got to make a tough decision or, whatever. If you're a guy and you're looking to go talk to a girl and you want to get her number or whatever, you're going to have fear. You're going to have some doubts as you walk over there. Like, what is she going to say? Man, I messed up last time. Like all those things. Every single person deals with this. So let's talk about some strategies to put you in a position to win. But before we do that, let's kind of dive into this because we all have the fear. We all have the doubt because of our past. And I'm the king, absolute king of starting something only to quit it 2 weeks later. I can't be the only one out there, right? So many examples, whether you're working out, reading a book, and it just you're so excited about it, you read it for a week or two, and then it just collects dust on the nightstand. Journaling, that's a big one for me. Starting it, stopping it, starting it, stopping it. I've had the same journal for probably 4 or 5 years. It's like I should have been through probably 4 or 5 journals by now, and I still have the same one. For me specifically, staying at a job for, 6 to 12 months, maybe 18 months, and then switching. And again, time and time and time again, even with this podcast, starting it and stopping it and starting it and stopping it. Um, it's never ending. And if you don't think all of those doubts, if you don't think that all of those fears and those unknowns and past failures and experiences creep into my brain, you would be sadly, sadly mistaken. I'm not a life coach, not a psychology expert, and I don't have everything figured out. There are a lot of things in my life that are a complete and utter dumpster fire right now. All right. It is what it is. But here's the thing, I've got fears. I've got those doubts and everything else that you experience too. So let's tackle these a little bit. Let's go through some different steps on how to overcome and navigate. Because I don't think you're going to overcome it. Let me rephrase that. Navigate fear and doubt. Okay. Navigate, not overcome, because you're not going to defeat it. So you got to learn how to cope with it, how to use it, harness it, and what tools and traits to do. And that's what we're going to do today. Okay. All right. Number one, feel the feelings. This is a big one. I was not put up by this by somebody to say you need to get in your feels. You need to get in your feelings. It is the absolute truth. First and foremost, the number one thing, you have to recognize the feelings and acknowledge it. You cannot be an authentic man to yourself and become the man that you want to be, the man that your spouse deserves, the man that your children deserve, the example that you need to be for your children by ignoring or trying to suppress the feelings. Now, we'll get into it. I'm not saying you've got to stay there, because you're not going to stay there, but you have to connect with those feelings. You have to admit your vulnerabilities. Famous author, she came out, it was like seemingly out of nowhere in 2010. Brené Brown wrote some books, quite a few. I think I first saw her on a TED Talk back in like 2010, 2011, something like that. Great insight. Power of Vulnerability was one of her books, and she talked about it. I mean, she literally blew up. It seems like she was on everything. Um, and her big thing was being vulnerable. So you need to identify the fears, identify the doubts, and stay in that feeling for a minute. So many of us are numb right now. I know I was. Looking back when I was married, it's it's crystal clear. It is absolutely crystal clear that I was so beat down by the past failures, um, where I just didn't feel like I was enough. I was just going to mess it up again. And what's the point? What is the point? And maybe not at first, but after a period of time of repeating the cycle and having all those thoughts go around in my head, the fear and the doubt and playing all the past failures, you just get sleepwalking. You just get sleepwalking through life. And this is where addictions creep in. And they can be dangerous on a couple fronts. Obviously, getting addicted to drugs, to alcohol, to gambling, porn, all that. Yeah, that can ruin your life. It can alienate your family, your friends. Even worse, hey, it could be game over for you. you could end up dead. It's a little drastic. Most people don't take it that far. Most people live in this realm, which is even worse. It is the controlled addictions. On the outside, they've got it all together. They've got the house, they got the spouse, they've got the job, they've got all the things. On the outside, they've got it all together, but in the inside, we've all got phones. We can hop on, some gambling website. We can hop on some other websites that watch some videos maybe we shouldn't be watching, or pictures, or whatever it may be. Pretty simple to hide that. Pretty simple to take a gummy and just get glazed over. It's pretty simple to do all of that just to get through the day. You can't smell it. You can't see it. Out of sight, out of mind. Everybody thinks you're fine. It's obvious when somebody gets blasted on the weekends just to get through the stress of the week. But I'm telling you, there is a better way. Stop being numb to your situation. Start getting into your feelings. At some point, after you have that minute of feeling the depression, of feeling all of that, you have to get resolve. The question that you should be asking yourself when I say that is, how do you get that resolve? How do you get to the point of your life where you say, this is enough? I've had it. I can't do this anymore. I pray that it's not something that is a major life-altering issue that happens. But the unfortunate truth and the reality of the situation is typically it's going to take a divorce. It's going to take a heart attack. It's going to take you getting fired from your job, or you losing someone close to you before you wake up. Let this, if you stumbled upon this podcast, let this be that life-altering moment. So you don't have to go through the heartache. You don't have to go through the health challenges and live with those circumstances for the rest of your life, possibly. There is another way. You just have to get the resolve to say, this is enough. For me, for this podcast, it's literally me just saying, I'm not going to stop. I know what I need to do with this podcast. This is greater than anything that than me. This is not a self-serving conquest. I know there is stuff inside of me. I know there's greatness in there, and there is things that need to be said, conversations that need to be had on this podcast that will absolutely change someone's life. I promise you. So what do? I got to turn on the mic. But Reggie, what experience do you have? But you started and stopped so many times. Nobody listened to the last episode. Blah, blah, blah. Well, number one, that's not true, because I know a couple of people did, and I appreciate you. I really do. And I'll get to that in a little. Well, actually, let's do that right now. Thank you. If you have feedback for me, we're gonna pause for a second. Get back to this. If you got feedback for me, just let me know. Let me listen. This isn't some self-serving thing. This isn't I don't want this to be a one-way conversation. Give me feedback. Let me know. What do I need to change? Do need to change background? Do I need to change the mic? Do I need to change the mic? Whatever. Do I need to not do video at all? I don't know. Do I need different content? Let me know what you like, what you don't like, the tweaks. I'm here for you. Because you know damn well I'm going to turn this mic on. I'm going to hit that record button and I'm going to let this thing rip every week. Is everything I'm going to say, is it going to be spot on? No. Nope. Probably not. And my guess is if you talked by yourself for 30 minutes a week, everything you come up with is probably not going to be spot on either. So how about that? But here's the key. And if you know me, I say this a lot. You have to know where my heart is. And it's to help. It's to be a light for you, a beacon. Because I know there are a lot of guys struggling right now. I know. There's a lot of me that's struggling right now too. And I know what it's like to feel alone because I feel those too. And I am not the only person to feel that. So be strong. Get resolved. And know this. I know what that feeling is like, and you can count on me. I don't have all the answers, like I said, but know my heart's pure, and I'm going to give it everything I got. And here's the other thing. If you have the gym is a great example. You make dedication to the gym, to your health, get healthier, more energetic, looking better, feeling better. That's awesome. You're going to be excited about for 2 weeks, maybe a month. And then what's going to happen? You are going to run out of juice. You're going to accidentally sleep in. You're going to drink too much or whatever. Work, family, kids, car problems. It's too cold outside, whatever it may be, snowstorm, lost power, whatever it is, plenty of excuses. That's when the fear and the doubt and the negative self-talk. Oh, here it is. Oh, you were good for 2 weeks and here you are again. So how do you deal with all of that? How do you deal with all the negative self-talk that's going to come in? I'll tell you right now. You have got to get proactive and get intentional. Now, are there going to be times in life where you've got to be reactionary to a situation? Yeah, for sure. You're not going to know everything that's going to happen in life, but you can sure plan what those negative self-talk items are. If you're real with yourself, you know what they are. And you know what you need to do to gear up against them. You need to game plan against this, okay? You need to go against those feelings and the negative self-talk. You've got to know. When they say this, I'm going to do that. Set yourself up to win. You have to deal with the stress, okay? Life is stressful. Deal with it. But the thing is, you've got a game plan around it. A lot of people turn to motivation. You remember Successories? The Dare to Soars, it's got an eagle, like, its talons, its claws, got a fish dangling. It's going to take it back and have a little sushi. Maybe it's the attitude with the drop of water, with the ripples throughout. Teamwork with the silhouette with the guy reaching down. He's like, "Ugh," and it's like, reach down, and it's got some motivational saying. Hey, that was a great thing. Made a ton of money, I bet. I have no idea. I should probably look that up. That would have been good to know. But You look at those and you're like, there's some motivation. Yeah, it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing. When you have that up, you see it for a week, maybe 2, and then what? It's just background noise. It's just something that your brain sees, but it doesn't recognize. Like, it just tunes it out. It doesn't process it anymore because our brain is it's a survival mechanism. It's looking for patterns, and if it's not a harm, if it's not a threat, it's going to tune it out. And that's what you've got to recognize. You've got to be able to tweak things and change it, and you've got to be on the offense. Okay? Know how your brain works and then work in the other way. And how do you do that? Well, here's another one. Start doing difficult things. The David Goggins approach. I don't care if it's getting up early. Some people are in ice baths. God bless you. Taking cold showers. Great. Is it healthy for you? Probably. I don't know. Haven't done the research. It makes sense. Go for it. Do a hard workout because by doing difficult things, you are training your mind that you can do hard things. You are giving it the confidence that it needs to deal with the fear and the doubt. All of us, when we're, if you've got to work out together, we can get stuck in that same routine, just like with the accessories posters, and we just go through the routine. Are you working out? Yeah. But are you really doing difficult things? Are you training your body to be stressed in difficult situations and overcome? To wonder if I can really do this, and then you do it. And that's what we're talking about when we say doing difficult things. The next one is getting into a practice of having some quiet time. It's funny because the one right before it is doing difficult things, hard things. And then, so you're obviously physical, you're moving, you're doing things. And now what do I tell you to do? Nothing. Dude, do super hard things and then do nothing. There you go. You earned the right. But no, what is the point of this? The point of this is to train your mind. The doing the hard things is a mental and physical. The quiet time is the difficult thing for your mind. Whether it's meditation, mindfulness, whatever you want to call it. There is books on it. Probably do a review or two on a couple of these books. You need to be present, to be centered. We go all the time. Our phones are dinging. This is dinging. Our minds are constantly going. We need to slow them down. It allows space in your mind to get centered again, to refocus, to stop all of the commotion and to clear it out. It's a lot harder than you think. A lot harder. Literally, take 60 seconds, sit on a chair, feet flat on the ground, or sit Indian style on the floor, crisscross applesauce. There you go. Don't be fidgeting, and take 60 seconds. Set a timer on your phone. Take 60 seconds and think of nothing. Clear your mind. You want to know the crazy thing that's going to happen? If you've never done it before, you will get about 20 seconds in and your mind will start going bam, 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 What about this? What about this? What about this? Oh my gosh, did I forget to turn this off? Oh, what about this? Oh, ooh, whose birthday's coming? Oh, I got to get this present. I got to get that done. And you'll be like, shut down, shut down, shut down, shut. It's like the windows, like all the tabs on, Google Chrome or whatever. And then all these pop-ups will start coming up, pop, 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 and just shut them down. And then you'll be like, dude, oh, that was crazy. And it's only been 20 seconds. You're like, that was forever. Exactly. Your mind needs to calm down. Allow the space for it to happen through meditation and being mindful. The last part is to get plugged into a community. That's the whole purpose of this podcast, is to create a community that we can support each other, that guys can support each other and be there for each other. Whether you choose to do that or connect with friends, but you need to be vulnerable. You need to open up and realize nothing's going to change unless something changes. You need to be around other men to help you through life. We're not an island. You get encouragement from them, stories from them. Hopefully, you get encouragement and tips and tricks and all this other stuff from listening to this podcast. Shoot me an email. Get connected with the local group. Reach out to a coach, a counselor, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. By just talking it out, a lot of times you can find solutions. A lot of times the problem, the root cause of the problem can be identified. And sometimes it's hard for sure, but it's there. And the crazy part is those fears, they're not as big as what you think they are. A lot of times they are not as big as you think they are. By just having someone that can listen, that can relate, that can communicate with you and talk it out, those solutions, they can come instantly. Because you're getting out of your head and you're connecting with other people. Now, obviously, when you're getting plugged into a community, you got to be careful. Because when you do open up yourself, and there'll probably be some comments on this one, you're setting yourself up and people can take advantage of you. So that's where you got to get the old spidey senses going. You gotta try to figure that out. But when you do have that safe space and people feel comfortable, you can open yourself up, be vulnerable, talk about your shortcomings. And here's the other thing that key with the community is it's not just a bitch session. It's not just we're just gonna say everything's okay, because it's not okay a lot of the times. And it gets a little tricky here. There's a fine line, but you've got to be able to figure out what am I. You don't want to enable, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You need to relate and understand, but also you need to have firm lines. Dude, that's not cool. You can't be drinking all the time, bro. You can't be looking at that stuff. You can't be talking to your kids like that, bro. Whatever it may be. We can come up with excuses all day long. But the bottom line is sometimes they just need, I know I need tough love sometimes. Talking about knocking it off. Be a man up. Let's go. Get it done. Suck it up. There's a lot of that. but it comes with someone out of a place of love with a heart that cares and wants to better you. And that's the key. All right. So today's podcast, we've been talking about fear and doubt, how you navigate it. You're not going to overcome it. Okay. You're not going to overcome it. Everybody's going to deal with it. You got to feel the feelings. Okay. You've got to get resolve after you do that. The next thing is you got to go on the offense. You got to get proactive. You got to get intentional, do difficult things to build confidence, get into the practice of doing quiet time, meditation, get plugged into the community. Okay. Those are the big things I want to do. Communicate with you on today's podcast, navigating fear and doubt. The next episode, we are talking about Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits, amazing book by James Clear. Never met him before. I don't even know if I could pick him out of a lineup, but he wrote a incredible book. Maybe I'll have a picture of him. Probably should show some respect to the guy. If you don't know Atomic Habits, you should check it out. It's the tagline is a proven systems building proven. Oh, this is not good for my ad reads, but proven system for building good habits and breaking bad ones. Atomic Habits. So if you listen to this and want to follow along for the next episode 3, Atomic Habits, go check it out. Whether you're popping on to Amazon, get the book. Maybe you're a audible person, or whatever. Listen to books on tape. Nobody does tape anymore, but you know what I mean. I don't know what to call that anymore. Or a Kindle or whatever. Go to your library. Library's got them. Go check it out. You don't have to pay money for that. But anyways, hey, appreciate you. Reach out. All the information's in the show notes. I love suggestions, future episodes, anything you'd like to see tweaked or changed on this podcast. Love to be of service to you. Navigating fear and doubt. This is an extremely important one. Don't gloss over it. Go back and listen to it. Walk through some very, very practical steps. We don't have it all figured out, but we are here for each other, and we are growing together in this community of Men Unleashed. Okay? The Men Unleashed podcast. See you next time.